Hello everyone, it's me, Kimiko Tarot, and welcome to my channel. In today's Pick a Card, Pick a Deck, or Pick a Crystal reading, because I'll show you all three, we're going to get into all about your soulmate. What they're like, what the energy of the connection's like, what the connection's like at the beginning, and when the relationship's a bit more established. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. But if you like picking with decks, here are the decks. I'll go ahead and tell you the piles. Pile 1, Pile 2, and then Pile 3. I go kind of quickly, so I do recommend pausing the screen because I'm going to put cards on right now. So for Pile 1, we have this card, Pile 2, and then Pile 3. Okay. So then again, I recommend pausing the screen because I go kind of quickly, but we have Pile 1, Pile 2, and then Pile 3. And now I will show you crystals, and I will also do them up close. So we have for Pile 1, this piece of flower agate, Pile 2, tiger's eye, and then Pile 3, sodalite. So then I will show you them up close again. For Pile 1, we have this lovely piece of flower agate. For Pile 2, we have this lovely piece of tiger's eye. For Pile 3, we have this lovely piece of sodalite. Yay! And then again here, the piles, we have Pile 1, Pile 2, and then Pile 3. If you like this video though, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what I should do in the next video. Make sure you turn on bell notifications so you get notified whenever I upload. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the reading. Bye! Hello, Pile 1. If you chose either the flower agate, this card, or this deck, then this reading is for you. Before we get into the tarot, we're first going to do some oracles that I pulled off camera, just because it takes some time to shuffle. So first we have the energy of your person. We have the energy of your person, which is the energy of the connection, and then anything else we need to know about the connection. Let me make sure they're even post-its. Okay. Okay, Pile 1. So when it comes to the energy of your person, the first thing I can tell you is that they're definitely someone who's spiritual. They're definitely someone who I think is also really wise. I think there's someone that a lot of people turn to either for like advice, probably because they either A, have lived a lot, or they also, I think, like know a lot. I think they definitely, even if they haven't lived, let's say, the same thing maybe that a person's asking, they definitely, I think, apply like the logic and give them a well-rounded answer. Like they're definitely someone that people I think turn to like get advice from and be like, hey, I just need to talk to someone. I think they're very reliable. I also can tell you that I think, yeah, they're definitely someone who's very spiritual, like maybe either they're psychic or they have like really strong intuition. Maybe they may not be someone that's like, oh, I do tarot readings or something like that. Like they definitely could be, especially with crow energy. It's very spiritual, but they're definitely someone who for sure has really strong intuition. I think leads a lot by their intuition. I can also say with like passion that they're someone who's very passionate, someone who I think goes after what they want. I think because they're so spiritual or because they have such a strong sense of intuition that they just kind of throw themselves into things. Like there's someone who will just be like, oh yeah, I just moved because I knew it was gonna be right, or like, oh, I pulled something out of a hat and I decided to take it because it just seemed correct. Like they're definitely someone who I think just like I think go into things really passionately because when they just think it'll work out, and two, they just assume it'll work out because I think one, they have strong intuition hasn't led them wrong, and I think they also rely on that quite a lot. So yeah, your person's definitely someone who's really passionate, really energetic, I think, and then also very spiritual. Like there's someone who I think when they talk about their passion, I think their whole face lights up, and I think they just like, I don't know, they're definitely someone who's really energetic, I'm feeling. Yeah, but there's someone who's a little bit maybe either psychic, leads by their intuition. I think very wise. Like people again turn to them for for advice. A lot of people turn to them just to also like talk things out. I think they're a very reliable person. But I think they may get also like a little bit tired, like kind of tired of people easily or like drained by people easily, probably because a lot of people do tell them just about their life and about everything. So I think it can be kind of heavy on your person, but I think they're also very passionate at the same time. So I think it's interesting because it kind of weighs it out. It's like they are someone I think who gets kind of like maybe like drained easily, but they are such a passionate person that like they're willing to almost push through it. Like, yeah, but they're definitely a spiritual person. They're definitely very wise. when it comes to the energy of your connection, which is represented by hummingbird, I think one, it's something that's very like your actual like connection is definitely very energetic, very like happy. It's very like I want to say like almost fast, because like a hummingbird, like you know how their like wings flap really fast, kind of reminds me of that, like something that maybe feels really fast or go kind of fast maybe at the beginning, um especially with it also being represented by power. Like maybe at the beginning there's like a really strong draw, there's like a really strong draw to each other, especially with your connection also being represented by destiny. Connection is definitely something, again, that's fate based. It's definitely something that was meant to happen. I think also with destiny that this is definitely, again, like with destiny and also with hummingbird, like hummingbird also means like in this deck it's supposed to be something that like involves like exploring like creativity, spirituality, and nature, and like the hummingbird always like knows where to go back for like I guess like the nectar of spirituality. So I feel like this relationship, this connection, is something that you guys almost like either you go back to or something that you want to go back to. Maybe you guys have met and like I don't know, maybe you guys aren't together right now, or even or when you guys do meet, it's like you know that you guys were meant to meet. Like this is fate. Like you guys were meant to meet, and like even if let's say like you guys don't date right away, you guys don't get together right away, and you're like I don't know, start kind of maybe dating other people. It's like you still always want to go back to this connection because like I don't know, you always want to. It's like it just feels like it's the one, it's the right one, and it's the one that you want. I think out of everything. But also with hummingbird also representing like a little bit of spirituality, and with destiny, this is definitely a very spiritual connection. This is definitely something I think was meant to happen. Obviously, it's your soulmate, so that makes sense. But I definitely think this is like you'll know because it feels like, oh, this is I was destined to meet this person. Especially maybe you guys meet in like some really weird circumstances. Like maybe I don't know, like maybe how you guys met is something like you would never have done if like something like let's say like I don't know, you you went to do like I don't know, like an abroad, and like you never would have done an abroad unless your roommate in first year like convinced you to do one, and so that's how you met them. And so that's like kind of like something that you wouldn't have done unless they convinced you, something like that, something like destiny, something that just you when you met them you're like, oh, this wouldn't have happened if this didn't happen. Like it was definitely like a butterfly effect. Also with synergy and soul time, I think when you guys first meet, it's like you guys just feel like, oh my god, we flow so easily, like we work so well together, like we just work well, we think the same, like we come together and we just work really well, like our like. And then also with soul time, I think maybe it does take time for this relationship to actually develop into what it is. Like again, especially with hummingbird, like kind of come like you come back and forth the source because you always like come back. Maybe there is a time. Maybe it's like at first, like maybe you met when you're really young, or you know you met an unstable time in your life, and then like obviously you come back together because it's meant to be. But and you have like lessons to learn and things. But I definitely think with synergy and soul time that I think this does take a little bit more time than I think you thought it was. I also think with soul time, maybe if you haven't met this person, like don't worry, it's gonna take time. It's taking time, but it'll happen like in time. But you're just not maybe either A ready yet. Maybe there's still things you have to learn. There's still things you have to explore. Still things that you need to do before being with like I guess your soulmate. Like I don't know, maybe you need to backpack New Zealand, you know, and then you'll be ready. You'll have your eat, pray, love then. But yeah, with this connection, I can definitely say it's very powerful. It's very like passionate. I think there's a lot of sexual attraction, especially when you guys first meet. I think you're very attracted to this person. I think this person's very attracted to you. Again, it feels like when you guys first meet, it's like, oh, this was destined to happen. This is destiny. And I think maybe it does take time to get to where you guys are in an established relationship, and maybe it does take a little bit of time, but you guys have things to work out beforehand. But I think when you guys get together, like it definitely does feel like, oh, we were meant to be, we work so well together, like they compliment me here and I compliment them there. I think maybe your lifestyles complement each other, like what you like or what you want in a relationship really complements each other. And so I think you guys work really well, and I think you know who this is when you meet them. Like if you haven't met them, trust me, you'll know when you meet them. And I think that's one, really special. Two, really cool. But I can tell you that your person's definitely, yeah, very wise, very spiritual, and I think very connected to source, very like intuitive. I think they're a very passionate person. I think this relationship's really passionate at first, and especially at first, I think there's a lot of sexual attraction, especially with power. And I think like the power that you feel between you two, like you guys just are always drawn to each other. Like this is a really destined relationship, and it feels like fate. And I just feel like overall you guys just really complement each other, and I think it does take maybe some time to actually get to being an established relationship, but I think it'll obviously be worth it. But yeah, and that's what I'm getting from these cards. So let's dip into the tarot. So we're gonna find more about them. Ooh. And then about the connection at the beginning, and then when it's a little bit more established. Looking a little bit more, I guess, at like the honeymoon phase. So can you tell me a bit more about pile one's soulmate? I guess yeah, we'll take all of them. That's good. Okay, and then can you tell me about their connection at the beginning of it? Okay. And then can you tell me about pile one's connection with the soulmate one's a little bit more squish? How lovely. Sorry, guys. Sorry about like clearing my throat, okay? Okay. Can you see all this? Yes, you can. Sam I am. Green eggs and ham. Okay. So, about your person, a little bit more about them. So, they're definitely someone I say one. It's interesting. It's interesting because with Justice, I definitely think there's someone who's balanced in the sense that I think they want like to be balanced, and I think they can also be someone that kind of either A tries to see it from like both sides. Like I definitely get the feeling that they're not afraid to play devil's advocate, but like they're definitely someone I think one that either A tries to be balanced or B is balanced, but only in the sense that they like can see it from both sides and they try to I think view it from both sides. I think they try to always view things from like a third party perspective, which is sometimes kind of annoying, but like it's also like I feel like good to take yourself out of the situation, but you know, whatever. They're definitely someone that I think is the one balanced. I think they do like to make, I think they're also quite decisive. With Justice, it could also be like some Libra energy. Oh my goodness, some leaves. Yeah, we have some Libra energy. And then also Virgo energy with the Hermit. And then also Pisces with the Moon. Maybe those are some important signs for you. But with Justice, yeah, I definitely think that there's someone who's balanced. I think there's someone with Libra, they could be also very beautiful, very handsome. I think with Justice, though, they are very, like, balanced. I think we could also, like, for some reason, getting, like, well-balanced features. Maybe it's because this girl has well-balanced features. But yeah, something about also, like, them being balanced. Maybe the features are very balanced as well. Like, they're just a well-balanced person. With Knight of Wands, I can definitely see that there's someone I think who, again, very passionate, very like a go-getter. Like they really like to, like I think if they have an idea, they do like to go forward with it quite quickly. Like I think if they're kind of hot-headed too, like a little Aries energy, like very hot-headed. Like I think, you know, if they want to say something, they're not afraid to say it. They'll just say it because like you're gonna hear it and they're gonna let you know about it. But they're definitely someone that's very passionate. I think they really do like to like go for things. Like if they like something, they want to do it, they'll do it. Like I definitely think kind of like Sag energy. Like I'll do it if I want to do it. With Four of Pentacles, I can definitely see that one. I think either they were in when they were younger, they weren't the most stable. Like maybe they didn't have the most financially stable family, or maybe they just weren't as stable as like other people were. Or they didn't feel as stable when they were younger. They didn't feel as stable as they were, and I think they still kind of hold on to that. They may have a little bit of like scarcity mindset, where they may feel like, oh, it may all get ripped away very quickly. I think they're trying to let go of that mindset. I also think with Four of Pentacles as well, they're maybe a bit of a control freak, like a control freak. I think they like to control things. I think they like to know where they're going. I think they may, that could also stem though from maybe also like if they are someone who came from a little bit more of like a troubled background, they may have that mindset of, again, like things being ripped away. So they may like to control things so they know that it can't be ripped away or they won't have instability again. I think they really do like control, because maybe their parents were really controlling, or, you know, things like, or again, they weren't didn't have the most stable life growing up, so they kind of really seek control because they really want that stability. And I think maybe that's something that they're trying to let go of, something they're trying to move on from. I think there's someone that doesn't hold grudges, but I think they do have a hard time like letting go, if that makes sense. Like they won't hold a grudge against you because I think that they don't want to let you go, but like they have a hard time letting things go. But they won't hold grudges, if that makes sense. Like they almost like hold it in their heart, but they won't hold it against you. But they're definitely someone who's very balanced. Like they're very passionate, very kind of hot-headed, but they do like to seek control. Like they like that control, and I think they sometimes have issues with like letting things go, but I think that's something they're trying to work on. With Hermit, they're again, I think someone that's very I don't know why I said again, I haven't said this, but there's someone who's, I think, a little more introverted, or like they like time alone. Like they need time alone to recharge. They kind of probably like time alone. I think they just need that time to recharge, that time to be alone. They just need it. Especially with this passion energy, maybe they also just need time to like focus on themselves, focus on their passions, and focus on things they like. Because if not, maybe they fear like if they get too involved with someone, like, oh, I won't have time to do the things that I like to do, like my little alone time things. Like, oh, like I won't have time to do like my little videos, or I won't have time to do like my little like weird things that I pick up. You know, like they won't have time to do those little things. And I think that's maybe something they fear. But overall, about your person, yeah, they're definitely someone that's very balanced. They're very passionate. I think they have some control issues, and I think they have to have time letting things go. But I don't think they hold grudges. Yeah, but they're just someone that definitely likes their alone time. And I think they need that time to recharge. I think that's how like helps them bring balance to their life. When it comes to the beginning of your connection, which is represented by Seven of Wands and the Moon, one, I can definitely tell you at the beginning, it probably feels like, one, you're fighting for their attention, or B, like maybe you feel like there's a lot of competition around, or maybe you guys met like for instance, maybe like a lot of people maybe met on a dating app, and like you feel like there's a lot of people around, or maybe they're going on other dates, or maybe they're seeing other people, like maybe you don't really get a straight answer right away. So maybe that's something you kind of fear, and there's a lot of anxiety about this. Like, where's it going to go? How's it going to go? Maybe, and also they feel that as well. That could be something that you both feel, especially because if they have control issues, they may like also hold back information so they can feel like they're in control, you know? If I don't let them in 100%, even if they're not seeing other people, even if there's not other people involved, you know? It's just like the idea can maybe just feel like they have some type of control too. But with Seven of Wands and the Moon, I definitely feel like at the beginning of your relationship, it's kind of anxious, kind of anxiety inducing. Like you don't know where it's going. You don't know if there's other people. You don't know like if there's other competition, there's perceived competition. I think at the beginning, it's definitely something that's very like, a little more anxious, especially with like when you said the connection, like hummingbird, like, and I kept getting the energy like you always want to come back to this person. So maybe it is where you at the beginning, you kind of, it's a little flighty, like a hummingbird, a little quick, but it always comes back to source. You know, it always comes back to you guys, and I think you guys do end up obviously together, because it is also your soulmate. But I do think you guys do end up together. But I think at the beginning there is just a lot of anxiety, and like it feels like there's some competition, or you're fighting a lot, or you're fighting like almost off other people. But I think at the beginning, yeah, there is a lot of anxiety and a lot of like what ifs, or is this, or where are we? But when the connection's more established, we have Seven of Pentacles, so I definitely think you guys obviously are working on things that you want to invest in it, you want to be with this person, so you do invest in it, especially with Knight of Pentacles being the back of the deck. It's something that I think does move forward slowly, but at a very stable rate, especially with Two of Pentacles. Like I think it's very work-life balance. Like maybe this person, again, with Four of Pentacles, they're very, very focused maybe on their bag, on their coin, because they maybe, again, came from like a not stable background, so maybe they work really hard, that way they can feel like they're again stable. And so that's something that maybe at first they didn't really want to like talk about. They didn't want to talk about their background, their childhood. So they didn't want to say like, oh, like, you know, it's really hard for me to see you all the time because I have to work really hard, because I have obviously like fears of everything, of losing everything. That's kind of like not really a third date type of like talk, you know what I mean? So I think in the beginning there's like a lot of anxiety because maybe you don't know where it's going, or you don't know why they're not talking, and you're like, oh, it's because they're with other people, but it's just because they're working. You know, they're in their bag, or like, oh, what are they doing? They're just like learning something new. They're just they're on the laptop, deep diving into like what's found in the Nile River. I don't know, deep sea fishing, just doing something weird, you know. But you think maybe they're doing something else, but they're just in their own head. They're just, you know, working, or they're doing their weird interests. They're having that work-life balance. And I think at first they're probably very scared to tell you about it, because maybe it has to do with their childhood, or has to do with their background, and they don't really want to go into that. I think though, like, obviously, as the relationship is more established, it is something that you guys want to build on. It is something that you guys build together. And I think it takes time, but you guys know this is worth it because like the seeds that you planted are going to grow beautiful flowers. But like, again, I think you guys do want to work on this. Like with Two of Pentacles, it is very balanced. Like it is very like a work-life balance. Like you guys work hard, play hard, you know, you still have your time to be independent while still coming together and being in a relationship. And I think also with Knight of Pentacles, it's something that's very stable and moves kind of slowly, but I think it's one good for both of you, especially with like this anxiety part. I think maybe this person and you both need to move a bit slower. So like obviously you can establish better roots to have better flowers grow. But I definitely think, yeah, at the beginning of this relationship, I feel like it is very a little flitty, a little anxiety inducing, a little bit like, especially if you guys both have like maybe attachment issues, or like maybe you guys both have like things to work through, or like, you know, past relationships didn't work out, which obviously that's really normal, you know, like I think those are things that obviously like you have to work through. And I think that's kind of anxiety inducing at the beginning of the relationship. But I think when the relationship's more established, you realize like these seeds that you grew, like these seeds that you planted are growing, and they're growing at like on maybe like a little bit slower pace than you wanted. But I think at a pace that's one really stable, into a pace that's going to last very long. I think also with Two of Pentacles, again, it's a very balanced relationship. You guys have your own life while having a life together, and I think that's really, really nice. And again, Knight of Pentacles, I think is a very stable relationship, a little more slow moving, but I think that's good because you guys need to establish, I feel like, good roots, again, to have like a really, really amazing relationship, especially with this person being a little bit more like flitty. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting from these cards. I think your soulmate, yeah, your soulmate's definitely someone that's pretty balanced and very passionate, and I think they need their alone time, and I think they're a kind of a little bit of a control freak, and they're trying to let that go. And I think the beginning of the relationship is a little bit of anxiety inducing and does feel like a lot for them. But I think obviously as the relationship progresses, it's something that you guys want to grow together. It's something that's really well balanced and very stable. So it's very beautiful. It's very nice. It's like the relationship you want, you know, like at the end, it's very a relationship you want where it's well balanced and you guys work together and you guys like obviously both put in the work to like grow these seeds, to grow these plants, to grow these tree, okay? But like you guys do work together, and I think that's really nice. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting from these cards overall. I think your relationship just kind of moves a little bit slower at first, but I think that's good because it, again, I think you guys talk things through, and I think that's why it moves a little bit slower because you're like, okay, we really need to like, you know, I have like anxiety about this, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you guys, I think, move a bit slower because it's, again, to establish a better relationship, which is honestly how it should be. That's like a proper relationship. Okay. Before we go, we're going to get some advice from Spirit. So, Spirit, do you have any advice for pile 1? Yes. Your dreams need a practical plan and expect powerful change. Okay. With expect powerful change, one, I think, and say, if you know this person, I would maybe say, like, maybe do expect change in it, especially maybe if you're in, like, the flighty part of it. I would say, one, expect change. I would say, two, also with powerful change, I think maybe in your dreams need a practical plan, these coming together. Maybe if there's something that you want to do or something that, like, you think, because the other thing I like about a soulmate, your soulmate's not going to, like, fix problems within you. Like, let's say you are a really anxious person about relationships. Like, you have to change that to, you know, you have to work on that yourself. You do have to have, like, if you want to be in a very secure relationship and you have very anxious tendencies, your dreams need a practical plan in the sense that, you know, you do have to look within yourself and be like, okay, what triggers me? Like, what doesn't trigger me? And there, I think that's like where there's expecting powerful change is also like in that. Also with your dreams need a practical plan. Maybe if you want, like, also like with your dreams need a practical plan, like your dreams obviously need a plan. Like if you want to do something, you can't just like be like, okay, set it, it's done, it's good, it's here. Like you got to go do it. You got to do something. If you want to be a designer, get a sewing machine. You know, if you want to be a YouTuber, like whip out your phone and start vlogging. Your dreams need a plan. You can't just expect them to be like, okay, I said it, it's happening, it's done. No, you got to work with us. You got to do it. So I think with expect powerful change and your dreams are a practical plan, put those together. If you want like powerful change, you need a practical plan to that change. If you want to be in a stable and loving relationship, you have to understand like what, I guess, parts of you are triggered by, or what parts of you are triggered, or what parts of you, I guess, come out that are like not healthy attachments, and expect powerful change in that sense. Also, like if let's say you really, I don't know, like you really, really want to travel, right? Expect powerful change and your dreams need a practical plan, then obviously maybe you have to like work really hard and start saving up to go traveling, or you have to like obviously start researching the places that you want to travel, or where's like hotels you can go. Like you need, if you want to expect change in that realm, you still need a practical plan. How are you going to get there? I think that's what Spirit's trying to say. Like you can have everything you want and we will give you like great movement and great change in it, as long as you start to put the steps towards it. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting from these cards. So pile 1, thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this reading, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And then I'll catch you in the next one. Tell me what I should do in the next video. Bye! Hello, pile 2. If you chose the Tiger's Eye, or this card, or this deck, then this reading is for you. Before we get into tarot, we're going to get into some oracles that I pulled off camera. It's going to take some time. So we have the energy of your person, which is represented by Spider. We also have the energy of your person. Then we have the energy of the connection. Then we also have the energy of the connection. And then we have, I'll put this one here. No, I'll put it here. Trying to decide how I want to put these. This is also the energy, like connecting your connection, and then also the energy connecting the connection, or anything else we need to know about the connection. Oh, okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to reorganize how I want to put this. And we're back. So when it comes to the energy of your person, the first thing I can say is that they're definitely a hard worker. The Spider is someone who weaves like their web when it comes to like their financials, their personal life, professionally, all that. So your person is definitely someone that I think works really hard. I think with conjunction to rejection, maybe when they were a kid, maybe they felt honestly a lot of rejection, and so maybe they're trying to make up for that now in their adult life by working really hard, by like either getting a lot of material wealth, or maybe really trying to get ahead in their like their material world, in their financial world, in their professional world, in their like in their maybe in their education. Maybe they're like in med school, so they're trying to be like the whatever, like maybe like a heart surgeon, or like the most prestigious, you know what I mean? Maybe when they were younger they felt like either a lot of rejection, or maybe this is like perceived rejection, like how they, I guess, like guard themselves from rejection is by being also like maybe so, I guess, great on resume that it's like, well, they couldn't handle, they couldn't handle this. I definitely think this person that with Spider, they're definitely, someone that works really hard. They're definitely someone that, again, is really trying to work hard, I think, in their financial realm. I think there's someone, or in their professional realm, or like even their education. They're just someone who's trying to get ahead. There's someone that's like building. There's someone that's working hard. There's someone that's trying to build their home. There's someone that's trying to build their life. They're trying to build right now. Again, building their web, weaving their web. They're building this. They're trying to build as much as they can. With mysticism, I think one thing about them is that it sounds weird to be like, I don't think they like people to know their next move. But I don't think they like people to know their next move. They always want to keep you guessing. I think that's also maybe from, like, maybe it also stems from rejection. Like, they don't like people to maybe, like, know what they were going to do. Maybe they want to be a doctor. And people are like, oh, you'll never do that. And so maybe they don't like tailing. What is this accent? Maybe they don't like telling people that because they don't want, people to reject them, or people to make fun of their goals, or people to say, oh, you can't do that. Even though I think that's something that obviously pushed them, and I think made them, like, obviously build this web faster, work harder at building this web, I think that's obviously something that guards them and something that kind of hurts them. I think too, though, with rejection, the Spider may be someone that maybe you have rejected too, maybe from your past, maybe you have rejected them. And maybe something about them was quite mystical. But this person in general is someone that's working really hard, someone that's trying to build their own life and trying to just, I think, move forward with their life. When it comes to the energy, the connection, the elephant is supposed to be represented when it's in this deck, something that, like, unstoppable. Like, if you feel stuck, this energy tends to come forward. This energy kind of is what moves you forward. It's also a very spiritual energy, a very wise energy. I think when it comes to this connection, like the energy of this connection, I think one with self-worth, this is something that helps you see your self-worth. I think this is something that helps you find your self-worth. I think, like, to like someone's not going to give you, like, no, someone's not going to be like, show you self-worth. But I think there's something about this connection that also, like, obviously this person really maybe helps build you up a lot and really, like, gasses you up. And so it makes you feel really good. So obviously maybe you see more of your self-worth. I think with transition, though, I think with transition and also elephant, like, being something like when you feel stuck, maybe there's someone from your past that you're really stuck on, like an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend that you're really stuck on. I think with transition, this is saying, like, okay, it's time to maybe transition out of that, maybe to transition to move on. This could also be like, maybe like if you're in a relationship right now, let's say, it could also be like obviously a transition to something more serious. Like, if you're in like a relationship, maybe you're going to get engaged. But I think with transition, mostly with elephant, this is like for stuck energy. Like, you're going to transition out of a time of feeling stuck. I think especially maybe if you're stuck in this relationship, you're going to transition into feeling like obviously less stuck, maybe moving on to like the next the next place. Maybe if you're like married, maybe having a kid, you know what I mean? If you're in a relationship, maybe getting married. If you're just talking, maybe getting into a relationship, that type of vibe. I think also a transition though too, there's the flip side of it. If maybe you're also with the energy being stuck, maybe you're really stuck on someone. I think now it's time to transition from that stuck energy into moving forward with your life. With this energy being connected by past life and cherish, I think one, obviously you have a lot of past lives with this person. I think this person and you obviously have met over and over again. And I think that like when you first meet them, especially with this being a very like spiritual connection, I think you obviously know that when you first meet them. And I think also when you like get into a relationship with this person and you're in a relationship, like I think cherishing this relationship and being like really, I think they really cherish you as well, especially with self-worth. I think this person really like cherishes you and really like helps you find, I think, value in yourself. You should also have obviously value in yourself already. Like no one can give you value, no one can give you self-worth, no one can like teach you that. Like confidence and all that has to obviously stem from yourself. But I think this person reinforces that, you know? I think this person reinforces like, I think this person helps you move forward. I think this person shows you like really positive aspects of yourself. And I think this person really cherishes you. And I think you really cherish this relationship. And I think this person is like someone that you've met in your past. I think again with elephant is a very, very spiritual connection. And with spider, there's someone that again works really hard and is really trying to work hard right now and build. So maybe if you are with this person, like maybe they are really focused on building things and they are really focused on maybe like their career. Maybe that's something that's kind of like, I'm here, but I think it's again because they're just really trying to build things. Maybe there also is some like past rejection in their life that they're just trying to get over, and they want to make sure that they're building like if they feel like, oh, if I don't have this amazing life for you, then you're gonna reject me and leave too. That's also part of the energy I'm getting from them. So I think they work really hard hoping that like obviously maybe that's like what they put value on, like what they can provide for you is maybe like what they like their value they see in themselves. And if they don't have that, maybe they feel like obviously you'll reject them. But I think obviously you cherish them and this is obviously a past life relationship. So I think you obviously realize when you meet them that they're your person as much as they realize you're their person. And I think with self-worth being this elephant, like this connection, I think also you obviously help teach this person a lot about their self-worth. And I think you cherish this person and show them a lot about themselves because obviously with rejection, they felt past rejection. So I think with self-worth, you really do help this person see their own self-worth. So I think it's like a back and forth. It's a two-way street. But I think with transition, it's either A, if you're with this person, obviously transitioning into a more established place. But I think if you're stuck on someone with the elephant energy being stuck and moving forward, I think the transition is obviously moving forward from past relationships. But yeah, that's what I'm getting from this. So we'll move on to tarot. Okay. So for tarot, we're going to find out about a little bit more about them, and then a little bit more about the energy, the connection at the beginning, and then when it's a little bit more established. Okay. Spirit. What else can you tell me about Pile 2's person? Okay, work. Put this over, sorry. We'll get one more. What else can you tell me about them? The 24 of Pentacles came out in Pile 1 as well. Okay, I said one more and you gave me 3 more, but fine. What can you fill with them? Okay, I'm just gonna put this on top. Okay. What else? Can you tell? What is the connection like at the beginning? What is this connection like? And then what is this connection like when it's more established? I think we may actually. Okay, so we got a lot about what your person's like. They just want to talk, okay? They're a chatterbox. But first, starting with, okay, whatever. Just, it is what it is. There's a lot about them. It is what it is. Okay. So starting with the energy of your person, like what they're like. First with High Priestess, I can tell one, there's definitely someone I think that is intuitive, also probably connected to Taurus. I think they either have like a really strong intuition or like they kind of have a gut feeling. They probably may not call it like intuition. They may just be like, oh, I have a good gut feeling. But I'm sorry if you can hear the outside. I live in the city. But yeah, they're definitely someone that's intuitive. I think they're definitely someone that is connected to like spirit. I think there's someone that either follows their gut or has like good gut instinct. I think with also the moon, there's someone that's a little bit more anxious. Like they probably are more prone to anxiety. They may not like to show that though, especially with the High Priestess next to it, kind of like maybe like a secret. Like they don't like people to know that they're a little bit more anxious, especially with that rejection card. Maybe they don't like people to know. Like, and with the other one of like mysticism, they just don't want people to know their next move. They don't want people to know that they're anxious. They don't want people to know that about them. I think that's with also with Four of Pentacles, it kind of makes more sense because Four of Pentacles to me is also maybe they're like someone that also I think has a lot of control issues. Like they like to control things. They like to be in control because they don't know. Like if they're not in control, they don't know how it's going to end. If they're not in control, like also like what if they like reject me or what if I end up getting hurt and all that. And so I think it's something that they kind of like they like having control. And I think either a especially with all the spider like weaving their web, they may be again coming from a background maybe that they were a little bit more unstable. Like they didn't have like maybe the most financially stable background. So I think with how hard they're moving and how hard they're working, maybe they just want to work really hard at getting financially stable and getting like their coin in order, getting their bag in order, you know, because they are scared of losing that and they don't want to. And I think they have like a lot of again control issues. With Knight of Pentacles, there's someone that definitely I think works really hard and is very stable. And with King of Swords, they're definitely someone who's very smart. They're definitely very intelligent. They're definitely very like wise. They're definitely a talker. I think they're definitely talker, but with Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles, they're definitely someone I think one that's very abundant, but also very stable in their abundance. Especially with like Four of Pentacles, they're like very controlled with their abundance. Like they may not like to spend a whole lot of money, even if they have it, because like they're scared like, oh, if I spend that, what if something happens and I need that money now? I think also they're like a little bit more stable in their decisions. Like they may not be as like they may not care as much about flash. Like they may have like some nice items for sure, but I don't think they care about being head to toe Fendi monogram. You know what I mean? They're okay with just being a little bit more low key. With Six of Swords, I think they're someone who, I think one is moving on from something, and I think like it is moving on from something, and I think also between Knight of Pentacles and King of Swords, I think they may have trouble letting go of things sometimes. Like I think they may like think mind over everything. Like they really use their head over things instead of their emotions. So I think sometimes they do have a hard time letting things go because they're like, well, they shouldn't have hurt me because logically they should have known it was going to hurt me. Like I definitely think there's someone again who's very logical, someone who's very smart and very stable. And with the spider and all this pentacle energy and with control like pentacle energy, like they're definitely someone that again is weaving their web. They're really really trying to work hard at either getting stable, getting ahead in life, and working on their own, I guess, their own career. I think they really want stability, or they really seek stability, or they just really really want to be, I guess, yeah, stable. Something that they really seek. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting from up here is that, yeah, they're definitely someone I think that's pretty intuitive and they have control issues. And I think they're a little more anxious and they just don't like people to know that. But they're definitely very smart. And I think they're very, like, they work really, really hard because they want stability. But they may have some issues with, like, letting, I think, some things go. When it comes to the beginning of, like, oh, wait, this is up here. This is your connection was more established. This is your connection at the beginning. When your connection is first started with Four of Swords and Five of Cups, with rejection, either A, you may have either rejected this person, because Four of Swords to me is like a ghosting card, or two, they ghosted you. Like, or they like kind of like things kind of ended quickly. Or like, you know what I mean? Like I think with rejection being there, I think either A, this person rejected you, or B, you rejected this person, one of the two. And I think also with the Five of Cups, it also could be when you guys first come together, you're both coming out of this just recently being rejected energy. Like maybe this person just got out of a big relationship, or you just got out of a big relationship. There's something about heartbreak and like a lot of, I think, rejection kind of at the beginning of this connection. Like it is, like I think maybe you're A, yeah, you rejected them, or B, they rejected you. Because Four of Swords to me is like my big ghosting card. I'm gonna just gonna say it. And with Five of Cups also not being like the most like happiest card in the world, I definitely think, yeah, at the beginning there's like kind of maybe either some heartbreak or distrust, or, you know, I don't think it's as it's definitely not stable at the beginning, to say the least. Like, I definitely don't think you guys like define the relationship when you first meet. But yeah, this may be someone that you have rejected or they have rejected you. But at the beginning of this connection, yeah, it's definitely a little bit more tinged with sadness, a little more tinged with anxiety. But that could also be because, again, with your person, like, they may have, like, again, with control issues, like, they ghost you because that was their best way of controlling the situation, you know? Or you ghost them because that was, like, a good way of controlling the situation. I think, regardless, though, the beginning of this connection is a little bit more topsy-turvy. And it's not super happy and fun-loving, not gonna lie to you guys, sorry. Cool. But I think also, like, with this though, and especially with transition, that was the other card, there's the other flip side of it where maybe you're transitioning from like an ex, like transitioning and moving forward from an ex. And so at the beginning of your relationship is kind of tinged with like this sadness because you're still getting over your ex when you first meet them. And that's why you check them. There's something about when you first meet them that you're just like not 100% into it, or they're not 100% into it because of some past heartbreak, some past rejection. And so I think when you guys first get together, it's a little bit more guarded because, again, either A, you rejected them because you're just not over your ex, or B, they rejected you because maybe they're just not over their ex. There's something about here, or they're just not over something that hurt them in the past. There's something here about that stops it because of heartbreak. Yeah. But moving forward to it when it's a little bit later on established, the first thing I can tell you is, one, it definitely changes to something I think a little bit more like loving and soulmate, with the lovers being the back of the deck, and then, oh, the cherry, cute. Yeah, this is definitely something that I think when you move forward to being very loving, and I think it's obviously a soulmate connection. With the King of Pentacles, I think obviously when it's more established, it is much more stable. It's much more, it feels like, to me, that's like the ultimate like dad card, but like it really is, like it feels much more family oriented. It feels much more loving, much more stable. Like this connection later on is very much so like your partner aspect of like, you know, who you want in a partner and how you want to come home. I think the home life, like it definitely changes from being like this very, at the beginning, either you reject them or they reject you because of some past heartbreak. It changes from that to being this very like loving soulmate type of energy. Like it really is a lot more stable. It is a lot more loving. It is a lot more caring. And with death, it definitely changes into that. It's a transformative, especially again with transition. Transition. Like this is again something that definitely transitions into something more loving, or like again if you move on from your ex because that heartbreak and you get finally move on from it, again it changes to something and you realize, oh, this person really is my soulmate, like this person really is the person I'm supposed to be with. I think again when you guys are more established, it is a lot more stable. It is a lot more like family oriented, a lot more like loving. It is, I don't want to say like abundant, like especially because this person I think is weaving their web so much and working so hard. Like I think material wealth is very important to them. So I think when you guys are more established, it is a very more also financially established relationship. Like I think this person either becomes more financially stable, or maybe like they somehow, there's something about this that when you guys get more established, like they're more willing to either A, rely on you for stability, or maybe, you know, they obviously found their own stability to rely on. But when you guys get together, there's definitely this big change and this big transition into like loving soulmate and just a very loving and connecting relationship. Like this person really gets you, especially with like, because your lovers, like this is their counterpart, this is your person, this is the person you're supposed to be with. But I think at the beginning, and you guys really do obviously like show each other like your self-worth, and like you guys really get like, especially with this past rejection, like I think this person finally feels like what it's like to be like accepted, and you finally get to feel like what it's like to be like fully accepted. And I think that's a big change now. Because of that, you guys are able to fully open up and fully be like the lovers that you want to be. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from these cards, that it transitions into a really, really loving relationship. But I think at the beginning, either you reject them or they reject you because of some past heartbreak. And again, this person is very intuitive, and I think, again, they're a little anxious and they have some control issues. But, you know, they're trying to work, I think, one, on letting things go, because I think they definitely have a hard time with that. But there is someone, again, who's very smart and very stable and is, again, weaving their web, trying to find stability and trying to, I think, get more stable. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from these. Before we go, we're going to get some advice. So, Spirit, do you have any advice for pile 3? Nope, pile 2. Do you have any advice for pile 2? Advice for pile 2. Maybe. Perhaps. Oh, this one flipped over. Bring love into the situation. Okay. I think Spirit's trying to say, trying to say? I think Spirit's trying to say, one, especially with self-worth, bring love into the situation. I think it's bring love for yourself. Like, I think, especially with self-worth, like, no one's going to make you see your own self-worth. Like, you have to obviously see that yourself. And I think with bring love into the situation, it's like, obviously this person can help, I think, confirm and also like reassure you in your own self-worth, but you still have to have that yourself. So I think with bring love into the situation, I think there's the first aspect of bring love into the situation for yourself, because that's obviously going to help any relationship in the future and just help this one build a lot better if you have your own love for yourself. And then the second one too, especially if maybe you have rejected this person, or maybe you're with this person or you're talking to this person, you're currently kind of maybe rejecting them, I think bring love into the situation in the sense of like see it from like their perspective, and also maybe like bring love into the situation of look back into your past relationships that have hurt you and like was it really love there, and like also see it from their perspective, things maybe that you did wrong or things that they did wrong, you know, and bring love into the situation in the sense of look at it with like an eye of like through a lens of love and say like, okay, what did I do wrong, what did they do wrong, and how could I have like looked at this and how could I resolve this like maybe differently. I think also with bring love in this situation, yeah, Spirit's just really trying to say like you need to bring love in for yourself. You need to really bring love into like every situation that you go into. Like you can't just go into a relationship or into a situation expecting them to be super open and loving if you are super closed off as well. You have to bring love into a situation if you want it to be a loving situation. You can't be super guarded and expect that person to be super open. So I think Spirit's trying to say like just be open, be loving, and you know, find that self-love and also find that love for others. And bring love into like every situation that you can, because I think it's just what Spirit wants you to do, you know? Bring love into the situation, bring love for yourself, bring love for everything else, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. But that's what I'm getting from this card. That's what I'm getting for your reading. So, pile 2, if you enjoyed this reading, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And tell me what I should do in the next one. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose either the Soulmate, this card, or this deck, then this reading is for you. Before we get into the tarot, we're first going to do a few oracles that I pulled off camera. So yeah, we'll get into, this is first the energy of your person. This is also the energy of your person. The energy of the connection. And then anything else I need to know about the connection. I guess I'll put this one in here. I'll put these two here. Okay, and then also let me scoot these over so they're even. Semi-even. Okay, so starting with the energy of your person, the first thing I can say is that they're a unicorn. They're definitely someone that I think you never thought you were going to come across. They're definitely, I feel like, very unique, someone you don't really come across every day. They're definitely someone, I think, very, not like weird, but yeah, like definitely someone very unique. Also, the unicorn is the third eye chakra in this, so they're definitely someone who I think is intuitive, very connected again to source, very connected to the spiritual world. Like they definitely have a good, strong intuition. Again, but though they're definitely someone that is like a unicorn. I think a lot of people meet them and they're like, you're very unique, you're very different. There's something about them that's just like, you either when you meet them, you haven't met anyone like them. There's no one that's ever made you feel this way. But they're definitely someone that's very, yeah, very unique, very interesting, very different. They're definitely not someone you meet every day. With Quest 2, I think, again, like, it sounds stupid to be like, oh, it's like a long journey to get to know them, but I think it takes quite a bit to know them, because I think they have so much to them, like quite a few aspects of them that's so like unique and different. It takes like a lot to get to know them. I feel like also it sounds like whenever they talk, it sounds like they've been through a lot of things, they've seen a lot of things, so they've like kind of like, they've done a lot of side quests, you know, like a lot of, they're doing a lot of side quests during their life as well as the main quest. You're like, dang, good for you. But they're definitely someone who's very unique, very different. With the energy of your connection being lion, I think this is a very patient relationship, a very loving relationship. I think this is very like regal. Like to me, lion is very like a regal energy, so it's very like elegant. Like you're like when you see the like you two together, I think a lot of people see you two together and they think like very like, oh, that's such an elegant couple. That's such a like, oh, such a nice couple. Like, oh, you guys look nice. Like I don't know, you guys just look. You look expensive together, okay? I don't know. Especially with the Soulmate and Vanity, I think, especially with Lion and Vanity, I think, yeah, again, you guys look really nice together. I think people think, like, or either maybe also, you look really nice. Like, I think people think you guys look really nice together. I think people think you look really, like, well put together, maybe very, like, expensive looking together. With Soulmate as well, obviously, this is your soulmate. This is a soulmate reading. Crazy, right? But yeah, that person is definitely your soulmate. I think, again, with Vanity, I think people think you look really nice together. I think people think this connection like looks very nice. But I think the other thing is I think a lot of people just think, oh, either maybe A, you're with them for like something on the outside, or B, they're with you for something on the outside. It's like maybe like, again, maybe this person's really wealthy and like people think you're just with them for the money, and they think they're just with you for like your looks. People see this and they think it's a very vain couple, like a very like it's very on the outside, but they don't realize that obviously this is a soulmate connection. There's like a lot more to you. There's a lot more depth to this relationship than you guys show. Especially with unicorn, this person's definitely very kind of unique, very weird, very different. So I think again, like people only see the surface level of them, and when they get to talk to them, they get to know, oh wow, this person's really interesting, really like unique, really different. And that's also why you're with them. It's not just this like vain surface level relationship, because people see you together and I think they think you guys look really good together, but it's obviously a soulmate connection. And I think again, it's a very patient connection, a very loving connection, a very calm and like cool like connection, especially when you guys are together. I think when you guys are actually together, like in each other's presence, it's very calming. With Cosmic Flower being like your connection, Cosmic Flower is supposed to be like your home, your heart, your everything. So I think this person really does feel like home, especially with marriage and Cupid. I think obviously you marry this person, or maybe you are married to this person, maybe you're currently married to this person. And I think whenever you guys are together, it just feels like very loving, very like, it kind of like, you know, it's like you make me feel like I have a teenage dream, you know, like Katy Perry. Like I think it's very that, like this person makes you feel very young, very loved, very like in love. They feel like home. So maybe you guys are married, but if you're not married, I think obviously you will get married. I don't know if you know this person yet, maybe you don't, but like I think obviously when you do meet this person, you'll get married. And I think also that's the other thing that's connection. Maybe when you meet them, you think maybe, oh, they're just with me for something on the outside surface level, but you don't realize like, oh, they like me for me. There's like so much more to that. Yeah, but with Cosmic Flower, yeah, this person definitely feels like home to you. They definitely feel like very loving, very like it just feels like home to you. Like when you guys are together, just it feels like love's in the like you guys just feel very loving towards each other, very like giggly, very like teenage, like oh this is like so like you know what I mean. You feel like oh like giddy and all over in love again all the time. And I think that's something really unique and very different. Like not a lot of people get to experience that. I think from like the entirety of your relationship, like you guys do. Yeah, but again with Quest, like I think this person, it takes a while to get to know them, or it takes a lot to get to know them. Maybe they have a lot, or maybe they don't show a lot to other people. And yeah, but this is definitely like a soulmate connection. This is definitely someone that I think you obviously end up marrying, or are married to, or want to be married with. But this person is definitely again someone that's very calm. This relationship is very calm, very patient, very loving. It's just very calm and peaceful, but it's at the same time like young and giddy. That makes sense. But no, I think especially with Cosmic Flower, marriage, and Cupid, this is a very loving relationship. This makes you feel like you're at home, you're at peace. Like you just feel like whenever you're with this person, like love is in the air. Like you could just stare at them and just not do anything. You're like, you're so nice, you're so pretty, you're so handsome. Like I don't know, like you guys are just together so happy. It's very loving, very light energy. Very light. But yeah. So yeah, your person's definitely someone that's very unique, very connected to us, but very different. Like I feel like a lot of people either I think they're a lot smarter than also people think. So I think maybe either like because they're kind of offbeat, people think they're dumb, or people think like, oh, they're kind of offbeat, maybe they're not that smart, but they're definitely someone I think who's also witty. Like they're witty, and I think that takes people by surprise. And they're like, oh, you're this and that? Like it's kind of funny, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, your relationships again, very loving, very peaceful, very patient, very kind. And I think people are like, wow, you guys look great together. But I think obviously this is a very loving relationship, and you either get married to this person or you are married to this person. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for these cards. Let's go into the tarot. We're going to find out a bit more about your person, and also about their relationship when it's more established, and also at the beginning. Sorry, I'm grabbing water. Okay. Alright. Okay, so what can you tell me about pile three's person? What is we'll take some signs. Maybe with death, maybe you got a Scorpio, maybe you're a Scorpio, maybe they're a Scorpio. We got some Scorpions up in here. So we also have Aquarius. Let's see, what is the relationship at the beginning? This relationship. Yeah. Okay. What is this relationship like when it's more established? What is this relationship like when it's more established? So pile 3, a little bit about your person. For one, I can say either for some of you, for stars, for some of you, for some reason I'm getting like, some of you may know this person, especially with death, like a change, and some of you may not, but if you do know this person, if you don't, you know, keep in mind. So for the star in death, I can definitely tell like your person's pretty, like I want to say hopeful, like I think they see the best in people, or they try to believe the best in people. They want to believe the best in people. Like, you know, they want to like if they have good friends, they want to assume their friends aren't going to hurt them. You know what I mean? Like they believe the best in people. I think with that, they're definitely someone who I think is not scared of change. I think they change a lot. They transition a lot. They move forward a lot in their life. I think maybe they moved a lot, or maybe they don't care about like moving to a new place. Like maybe they grew up in like a certain country and then they left to go to a different country for school. Like they're definitely someone that's not scared of changing or like starting over. I think with 10 of Cups, so your person's very like emotionally well balanced. Like I definitely think there's someone who's very loving, very caring, very also charismatic. But they're very someone who I think is pretty like emotionally well balanced, like and emotionally like I want to say happy. Like they're very abundant in I think their emotional like intelligence, and just also I think in their like friendships and in their family. Like they're very emotionally happy. With King of Coins, I think they are pretty stable. I think they're definitely someone who I think works really hard, and I think yeah, they're definitely someone who works really, really hard, but I think that may be a bit of a burden for them, because I definitely think they probably get burnt out a lot, especially with like the Knight of Wands. Like I definitely think, not Knight of Wands, Page of Wands. I definitely think they like to, I think they're very sexual, they're very sexually passionate, they're a very sexual person, but I think they have a lot of passions, and I think sometimes being like maybe like caught between like, oh, I need to work and I need to do this, and then also being like, oh, but I have so much passion for other things and I want to like do my activities and do my hobbies, and I think sometimes that could be a burden for them. Like they're definitely someone I think who puts a lot of burden on themselves, especially with like the King of Coins being such a hardworking energy, and like such like a like a dad energy, but like kind of a dad energy, like such a hardworking, stable energy. Like I think they put a lot of burden on themselves to be very hardworking, to be very stable. And I think they again have like a lot of passions. I think they're very sexually charged. Like it wouldn't shock me if they're a very sexual person. But yeah, I definitely think they're not someone who's afraid to like move on from different things, and they're definitely not someone who's like, they're definitely not afraid of moving on from things, changing things, starting over. Like I think if anything, that maybe that kind of excites them. They're kind of into it. They kind of think it's fun. But yeah, your person's definitely again, I definitely think they believe the best in people, and I think they're very like emotionally satisfied, and I think they're very stable and they're very happy with themselves. But they think they still at the same time do feel a lot of burden, because I think they try to always show that happy-go-lucky, and they don't want anyone to ever know that there's sometimes obviously things behind that are happening. And I think that puts a lot of burden on them to always show this super happy person, this super like stable person. Yeah, but they're definitely someone who again is very passionate about things. Like they're very sexual. I think they, if they want to do something, they'll do it. Like I think again though, they're very emotionally happy. So I think to them, if they have a passion, they'll do it, because like, I mean, it's not really gonna, that sounds stupid, but like it's not gonna burden them too much. Like, but I think it's like they'll still do it because I think they're relatively like emotionally stable. So it's not like, oh, I can't do that. I don't know. They're just very stable. Right? They're just very happy with themselves. And I don't think they're like, and they definitely aren't like scared to start over. I think that's also why they're not afraid to do things or to follow their passions, because they're not afraid to start over, because like regardless, they think that it's going to work out. When it comes to what your connection is like at the beginning, I feel like for one, it's very, sorry, I'm grabbing water. For your relationship at the beginning, I definitely think it's very like emotionally, not emotionally, very like intellectually satisfying. I think you guys talk a lot. I think you guys have really good conversations. I think you guys get along really well. I think maybe they're really witty and like you're really witty, or maybe like you get their humor and they get your humor. There's something about this at the beginning that you definitely feel like when you manifested this, I think you felt like, wow, this person really hits all the tick marks I want. And this is like a really powerful, really powerful relationship and a really powerful, I think, beginning. I think especially with Ace of Swords, like it's again very intellectually strong, very like stimulating it mentally. You guys chat about everything. You guys like the same things, you like the same movies. You guys, I don't know, you guys like they're just really witty. They make you laugh. Like definitely everything I think you wanted. And with Page of Coins, I think this was like to you, it felt like it was like, oh, this is the beginning of something super stable. This is the beginning of something that I've always wanted. This is the beginning of like the life that I want and like the person that I want to be with. And so I think at the beginning, this is a very not like fast paced, but a very kind of like fast paced, very passionate energy, like a very like this is everything I wanted and we're so alike on every other thing, and like this is really like the opportunity I think to finally have something stable and something that I really want. And so I think at first it's really like passionate, really mentally stimulating, and just everything. You really do feel like you've manifested this. Also with Magician, maybe you guys met online. I don't know why that's always for me. Like maybe you guys met online. Yeah. So, but that's like the beginning of the relationship. That was definitely like you guys get along really well. This is definitely like, I think like you feel like this is definitely something that's going to move to something more stable, and this is like everything you've wanted. I think later on in the relationship, when it's a little bit more like established, I think with King of Swords, I think especially because like we had this other energy of being so stimulating and like mentally, like I think that continues. I think you guys continue to be extremely connected mentally. Like I think you guys just again have the same interests. Like you guys like let's say like you work in tech and they work in tech, so you guys like discussing the newest tech that's coming out. You guys like discussing the newest like AI, the new advancements in AI. Like you guys really like discussing those things, so that's something that really interests you. Or they're really into crypto or something and you're really into crypto, so you guys like talking about crypto. I don't know, or NFTs, something like that. Or maybe you just like really like art and you guys talk about art all day. Or you really like, I don't know, you really like books, so you guys talk about your favorite books, like your top 10, like the top 10 anime deaths. I don't know. Like you guys like just have a lot in common that you guys like, and you guys talk about those things. And I think that's really important. And with Knave of Coins going on later to Knight of Coins, I think this like opportunity being something stable obviously grows at like a very stable rate. With Six of Swords, that's like moving forward, moving on. I think like there are maybe past relationships that this helps you move on from, and I think past ideals this helps make, like you move like along, like away from. I think this relationship helps you obviously. Hello everyone, sorry, I don't know where that cut me off because my camera overheated, but anyways, I'm pretty sure where I was saying that from the Ace of Swords to King of Swords, I can definitely tell that the progression in your relationship, I think, goes from just being like oh, maybe this person and I get along really well mentally, to being like, no, me and this person actually get along really well, like intellectually, mentally, blah blah blah. With Page of Coins turning into the Knight of Coins, I definitely can tell, especially in this relationship, that I think this like opportunity of something stable does turn into something very stable, and this opportunity of being like, oh, moving forward with this family life and moving forward with like, even if you don't want to have a family, but moving forward with this relationship does happen, and it goes at, I think, maybe like a little bit of a slower pace, like a little bit more like just a good pace, like a stable pace, a pace that you want it to go at. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, it's just right. But with Six of Swords being the back of the deck, I think a lot of this relationship teaches you, especially in the future, like how to let go of things and how to move forward from things. Especially maybe in your past you've held grudges, or maybe in your past like people have hurt you, or maybe in your past people have like really misled you, or in your past people have really, yeah, like hurt you. But this person and this relationship helps you like move past those things and see past those wounds and see past all that, because this person really does, I think, care for you and shows you like it's okay, like especially because they're, I think, one, very emotionally stable and very emotionally like, yeah, like very connected to their emotions, but I think they do help you move forward and past like these past hurts. Yeah, but your future relationship, again, I think is just as mentally stimulating, just as like fun, just as stable, like just as like you guys grow at like the pace that you want to grow at. You guys grow, I think, at like and I think you guys continue growing, you know, and this person helps you move forward from past hurts, and I think that's really beautiful. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from these cards. So before we go, we are going to get some advice from Spirit. So Spirit, give me advice for pile 3. We have 3 cards. You guys got the most. have faith in your dreams. End of a tough cycle. Okay. So one with have faith in your dreams, I think if you obviously have been dreaming about this person, or maybe if you don't think like this person's coming, I think obviously the end of a tough cycle is approaching, and have faith in your dreams. Like have faith that obviously you do have a soulmate, and have faith that there's a person out there for you. And you know, if you have been really, I guess, hard on yourself, like the end of the cycle is approaching, and like the energy is gaining momentum in the sense of like the energy of you meeting your soulmate, the energy of you being with your soulmate, the energy of you also, I think, moving forward and having a stronger relationship is obviously gaining momentum, and that's going to happen. I think as like the more faith you have in your dreams, and I think the more you believe that there is someone for you, and the more that I think you like accept that like these people that aren't good aren't for you, because what's meant for you will come for you, and like you have to have faith that there is someone meant for you. And when you have faith that there's someone that's good enough for you, you'll end these tough cycles of being with people who aren't good enough for you. And I think that's what's going to help this energy gain momentum. So I think what Spirit's trying to say is have faith that there is someone out there for you. Have faith in your dreams, you know, because that'll help end the tough cycle of being with bad people, being with people who don't deserve you. And that'll help, you know, the energy of getting forward to your actual soulmate move even quicker. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from these cards. So, pile 3, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and tell me what I should do in the next one. Until then, though, I'll see you in the next one. Or no, until then, I'll see you later. I don't know. Bye!